You've heard of the benefits of fasting? Oh my gosh, I've been preaching fasting for years. I started studying fasting all the way back in the 90s. Can you believe that? I just showed my age. And I tell a lot of stories about fasting. But what about dry fasting? Have you heard about dry fasting? What does that even mean? Well, dry fasting means you go without food and water. Why in the world would someone want to do that? And wait a minute, don't we die without water? Wouldn't we die just within a couple days without water? Not necessarily. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make an argument that dry fasting could be the thing that sets you free from many health ailments. Okay, dry fasting absolutely has a major effect on the body. When I talk about the benefits of regular fasting, I know there's daily fasting where you go maybe 12, 15, 24 hours without food. That's daily fasting. And people do that. Some people just eat one meal a day. Some people eat 2 meals a day in a 6-hour window. All of that is intermittent fasting. We're not going to talk about that. I do believe in intermittent fasting. However, I also say people are doing too much intermittent fasting because fasting is a stress and you have to absolutely adapt to the stress to get the benefit. It's the premise of hormesis. But listen, many people are fasting too much and they need feast days added into that. Another subject, and I've done many shows on that. Look back and you'll probably find one. But this particular subject on dry fasting applies to the premise of hormesis as well. It's such an incredible stress that your body goes through incredible surviving mechanisms that can be a benefit. When I talked about and teach about fasting, there's something called autophagy. That means that the body literally, to survive, eats bad cells because it doesn't want to eat good cells for energy. It's that smart. So it literally takes a surveillance of the cells and goes, this one is called a senescent cell, meaning a cell that lives too long, drives hyperimmunity, drives bad immunity, and is producing less energy. It needs to go. They're called senescent cells. They literally age us prematurely and they cause chronic disease. When we build up these senescent cells, we're aging rapidly. Old people have more senescent cells than young people. We don't like senescent cells. So during a fast, one of the big benefits is the body literally eats those for energy. That's how it gets energy. That's how you survive a fast. Believe it or not, the body still needs energy. It's getting them from the bad cells. Here's the best part. It's when it takes out a senescent cell, it stimulates a stem cell to replace it. So if it takes out a bad immune cell, it stimulates and creates a new immune cell, less hyperactive, right? Not driving inflammation, not driving autoimmune or food allergies, mast cell activation. No, it takes those out and replaces them with, in the scientific literature, they call them naive cells, meaning, hey, I'm just here to work. I'm a young cell and I'm going to learn all the good stuff. I'm not one of these old guys sitting in the corner not wanting to work. I call them government workers, but no offense, government workers, but it's just a joke. But the fact is that's what these bad cells are. And during a fast, the body takes out the old government workers that just typically don't want to work and just causing trouble. Maybe a better analogy is some people call them zombie cells. I like to call them even gang members, right? Because not only do they not want to work and they're feeding off society, yeah, they're feeding off your body and all the nutrition, right? But they also cause trouble, right? Gang members are causing fights, stealing, doing all kinds of bad stuff, stressing the tax dollars, stressing the system, right? Those are the real bad guys, the gang members. Senescent cells do that too. So they cause trouble. Yeah, they can lead to disease and cancer. So it's nice that we can get rid of them with a natural way of fasting. I want to say this too. Every religion disagrees with just about everything, even prayer, except one thing, fasting. That's right. Every religion seems to agree on fasting. I'm going to prove that to you in a minute. Okay, all that to say, dry fasting. Here's one of the reasons why. It could be something that could turn someone's health around because you get 1 to 3 or 3 to 1 autophagy, meaning during a water fast, if you take out a certain number of cells, during a dry fast, you take out 3 times that number of cells for the same amount of time. So if you fast for a day, okay, and you take out X number of cells, when you dry fast for a day, you take out 3 times that many bad cells. So you get 3 times the autophagy, 3 times the level of getting rid of bad cells during a dry fast. Do I have your attention now? Okay, so now look, there's other benefits of fasting too. You reset your bad DNA, meaning you literally turn off bad genes, right? That sounds good because stressors in life turn on bad genes that can lead to things like diabetes, turn on bad genes. It's called epigenetics, by the way, meaning you didn't just get diabetes or a thyroid condition or obesity because your mom or dad had it. No, we all have susceptibilities, but these genes get turned on. Oh, wait a minute. Fasting? We can actually turn off those genes? Yes. And guess what? Dry fasting actually does it even better. All right. And what about resetting your gut microbiome? I've talked about how water fasting is a way to reset it. You starve down all the good and bad, and it's such a stress that literally it causes a reset. And it could be the very thing that turns someone's gut around. And look, I've talked about the benefits of 5-day water fast or even something called partial fasting for 5 days. And there's a reason for 5 days because by day 4, most people hit max autophagy, meaning the max time where they're getting rid of bad cells. So a lot of people do like 1 or 3 day fast when they should push on to 5 because they hit that max autophagy day 4. Now, dry fasting, should I do 5 days without food or water? The answer is probably no, although many have. I'm going to tell you a real story in a minute. My son, Daniel, has done 2 4-day dry fasts. I don't recommend that for most people at home. He was young, he was healthy, and he wanted to do it for a particular reason. And he seemed to have no problem doing it. Now, there's 2 types of dry fast, to be clear. There's hard dry fast, which means you don't even shower. Why wouldn't you shower, not shower? Because that innate intelligence that wants water, well, guess what? It will suck in the water through your skin. You can't brush your teeth, same principle. So imagine that. You better be home alone. No brushing teeth, no showering. That's called a hard dry fast. And a soft dry fast means you're still showering, still brushing your teeth. You're just not drinking water or eating. So why does a dry fast get 3-to-1 autophagy? Well, I'll tell you why. Because what happens is it needs water. Otherwise, you would die. So where's it going to get it? It's going to bust out some bad cells really quick, especially fat cells that hold a lot of nasty toxins and bad cells because there's a lot of water in them. So it eats them much faster to get water to survive. So 3-to-1 autophagy. So how do you dry fast? Well, or I should say, how long do you recommend dry fasting, Dr. Pompa? Well, look, first of all, how do you dry fast? That's pretty easy. You just don't eat food or drink water. That means you can't take pills. So those on medications might not be the right thing for you unless you consult your doctor. So let's start there, right? I'm not recommending anybody dry fast. I'm telling you the benefits of the potential benefits, I should say, of dry fasting. If you're on medications, please, check with your doctor on that because that could be problematic. Any fasting, for that matter, could be problematic with certain medications. I said about the religions, they agree on everything. But do you realize, okay, let me go down through Islamic religion. On their calendar, the 9th month on every Islamic calendar, the month of Ramadan, Muslims are supposed to fast both food and drink. Supposed to, I think is a key word there. Food and drink from dawn to dusk. So they're literally fasting a 24-hour period. Okay, so that's that particular religion. What about the Buddhists? Well, they fast as well. And what they do is that includes a 24-hour dry fast. Again, no food, no water. See, more popular than you thought, right? No food or water. And they do it oftentimes on alternating days, which I think that is an incredible strategy because I talk about feast famine. Well, you're getting the feast famine by doing that. My gosh, I can't even believe they come up with that cycle for their religion. I wonder if they know the health benefits. I think most of them do. But okay, so the Buddhists fast, the Muslims are fasting. And what about the Christians? Am I fasting? Yeah, well, we fast for different spiritual reasons too. Christians are big 3-day fasters, but not dry fasters as much as the other religions. So Christians, maybe we should take more dry fasting serious, but the Hindus as well have a ritual for dry fasting where they abstain from all food and water for an entire day and night. So there seems to be a theme here for 24-hour fast. And what about Judaism? Well, guess what? Yom Kippur. Absolutely. So they observe two major fast days, Yom Kippur, and then they have another one. I didn't write it down, or I can't read my own writing here, but it's considered one of the holiest days of the year too. So I point out that these religions all seem to dry fast, and I think that there is benefits from a spiritual perspective for sure. I've talked about that. When we put our body under duress, we seem then to rely more on God. We seem to be able to hear God more, and I think we absolutely can get through our own clutter oftentimes in that weakened state. But obviously, there's health benefits too. Now, let me tell you that story. So a guy, we call him Kava Cam, and he tells the story publicly, so I can tell you his name. And we call him Kava Cam because he actually developed a product called Kavaplex, or True Kava. An incredible product. It was part of his healing journey that I said, listen, you have to find something that hits on these certain receptors in the brain. And because he was hooked on clozapam, and basically he found this strain of kava and he came up with that product. But this is the story I want you to hear. Cam was extremely sensitive to food and water. He was under massive mast cell activation, that he was eating about 4 foods and he could drink 1 water, Mountain Valley spring water. That was the only water his body would tolerate. Otherwise, he would get severe symptoms. So stuck on 4 foods and 1 water. And all of a sudden it came down to where he couldn't drink that water anymore, and he couldn't eat even 1 bite of any food. They brought him to the hospital. They almost killed him because gave him an IV, almost went anaphylactic. His father, John, called me and said, what do we do? Because they literally sent him home to die. We can't do anything for him. And I said, don't do anything. Listen to the innate intelligence. Don't feed him, or don't try to give him water. Obviously, they can't. Is he going to die? I said, I don't believe his innate intelligence will let him die. Well, then how do we know when to give him water? I said, when he gets very thirsty, then that's when you give him water. Well, how are we going to know when to give him food? When he gets really hungry. So, and I think thirst will come first, because that's going to be the body's priority. So he didn't give him any food or water 12 days. And on the 12th day, he got thirsty. And he reached for the water, and he drank his Mountain Valley spring water. Actually, that's what I have right here. And then he accepted it. Amazing when we listen to innate intelligence. See, do you think his body was absolutely doing something purposely? It knew best? I think so. So my son reminded me, my youngest son, Simon, there was a guy who was going through great health challenges. And he said, Dad, why don't you tell him to dry fast? Because that's what you always say, is like when something is that bad and someone's that sick, rely on innate intelligence the most, nothing more than dry fasting. And I said, you're right, son. That would be really good advice. I wish I'd have thought of that. And he was right. But by the way, Cam ended up going 21 days without food. So he started drinking water. And then, of course, his father asked, well, should I try to feed him? I said, no, not until he gets really hungry. And he wants food. And so that took about 21 days. So he went 12 days without food or water. And then he went 21 days without food. And then he got hungry. He started eating. Well, if you met Cam today, he's an amazing young man. Obviously, True Kava is his product. Develop a product, making a difference in this space and other people's lives. And of course, my cellular detox was a big part. He was very toxic, is how he ended up in that position. By the way, most people that end up in that position of massive mast cell activation can't tolerate foods, hypersensitive to their environment. Yes, neurotoxicity. That could be mold. It could be heavy metals. It could be hidden infections, mycotoxin, biotoxic illness. Any of those combinations, typically a perfect storm, sets somebody up for that type of reaction. But oftentimes, the body's innate intelligence knows what to do if we just listen. And again, look, I think most people listening, one day, like many of these religions, could be a practice for anybody that's healthy, looking to be healthier. Well, think about this. What would you rather do? 1 day of dry fasting? Because if it's 3-to-1, that means it's equivalent to doing 3 days of a water fast. I almost rather do 1 day of dry fasting, like a lot of these religions are doing. That makes sense to me. How about the alternate day one? I liked that, right? Alternate day where you do dry fast, eat and drink, dry fast, eat and drink. That's brilliant. Imagine doing that for a week, right? What would that do for your health? How much autophagy would you get there? I love the feast famine because that puts the body under this hormetic stress. And one thing I've said, if you want to break through weight loss resistance, feast famine. Well, imagine, I think I just talked myself into doing a dry fast every other day. I didn't know that. I think that one day of dry fasting could be very powerful. I think many people listening are probably healthy enough to try 2 days. So now wait, hold on. 2 times 3, that's 6. That's like a week dry fast. There's my 5-day water fast right there, right? With an extra day added on because we're getting 6 days if it's 3-to-1 if we do 2 days of dry fasting. So I don't think many people have to go beyond that. I ran into a woman once at a seminar and she was very excited to meet me. And she was day 8 of a dry fast. She was running around the seminar like I couldn't believe it. And by the way, many people believe in this. When you're dry fasting, I said there was a hard and a soft, that you can actually go down to where there's like streams and brooks, and you're literally pulling in the ions because your body's pulling in water. Remember, it's that smart. So all of the water vapor around that water feature or whatever, whether it be a stream, a waterfall, whatever, you're bringing in also the negative ions. You can even do it at the ocean. Well, what about the salt? Well, I believe it's smart enough to pull the water, desalinate the salt water. Oh yeah, your innate intelligence is smart enough. Matter of fact, I would argue that most of the salt would be left in the skin, which is good for your skin. So dry fasting at the beach could be an absolute benefit. Be careful of the sun though, because you could cause yourself dehydration faster than you're able to break down cells. So my advice would be stay out of the sun when you're dry fasting. But again, I think that like all fasting, because it's a stress, don't add other stressors. Don't sit into a sauna. Don't go out running around. I don't think that's advisable. I believe the best thing to do when you're fasting is rest. Absolute rest is best. Let your innate intelligence do what it does best, and that is break down the bad cells, recover. And there's even something that I call energy diversion, where it diverts all of your energy into healing things that needed to be healed, that it really didn't have time or energy to do because you're drive. So it's kind of like when you finally take off work and all of a sudden you have the honey-do list and you get things done around your house because now you have more time and energy to actually get those things done. Yeah, that's what your body does in a time of fasting, but it won't do that if you keep exercising and trying to do things when you're fasting. Rest, divert that energy to healing. That is my opinion on how you fast. So there you go, dry fasting. Share this episode. You know how many people could benefit from that, right? Great information. Something you could add, even healthy people listening to your regimen. Just do it right.